Okay, so some time ago now, I attended the family court for my first hearing. First hearing in a new case, and I was commended by the judge for what I put together. It's called a court bundle. Some of you will be familiar with, some of you won't. I didn't have a clue what the word bundle meant when I set out on this journey. A bundle, very simply, is just a compilation of all the documents necessary for a court case to go ahead. The purpose of the bundle itself is for the judge who's hearing your case to get a bit of background information before the hearing itself. The judge can also refer to pages within the bundle if you've indexed them correctly. And it's also very handy for yourself if you're putting together any statements for your case or anything like that. You can always refer to evidence, etc. in it. The only reason I'm focusing at the moment on this book in front of me is it's the first and it's the only book that I've bought with regards to my case. The remainder of any information I've got has come from the group and people in it. I would recommend this book to anyone. It's called Family Court Without a Lawyer by Lucy Reed. And I'd also recommend following Lucy on Twitter. And she does always respond to tweets as well, which is good. So the court bundle, as I've said, it's like a story of the case itself, and that's how it should read. However, there are very strict rules with regards to the court bundle. First things first, you only need to compile a court bundle if both parties act litigant in person. If you're acting litigant in person as the applicant and the other party has a solicitor, then it's expected that the solicitor will prepare the court bundle for you. If both parties are litigant in person, the applicant is responsible for the court bundle unless the court itself asks for it to be done. For me, I like having control of the court bundle. There are complications in my case that mean myself, the applicant and the respondent, we can't exchange documents legally. So we have to do it through the court, and I know exactly what's going in this court bundle and what's going to be presented to the judge on the day. All the laws regarding a bundle are available in Practice Direction 27A of the Family Proceedings Rules. There goes my book. But what's behind the book, which I'll place down there, is the court bundle. To begin with, when I first started on this journey, I was worried that I wouldn't have the facilities that I needed to proceed in the family court, and I was wrong. I didn't have a lot of money, but what I did need, all I needed really, was the group, which is the most important thing to me, and I needed my computer, a few ring binders, and I bought a very cheap printer, and this one cost me £20 and came with a full set of inks. Probably cost me more than the keyboard did. And what the printer does have is a scanner, which has proved invaluable to me. It's a photocopier as well, but it's a scanner that's proved invaluable, and that's all I really needed to move forward. So with all that said, I'll start this, and I'll start it with one quote which I'll always remember as long as I move forward in this journey, and that's that a good bundle can't win a bad case, but a bad bundle can lose a good case. And that's why I put absolutely every effort I can into getting this right. You'll need 3 copies of the bundle, one for yourself, one that you take to the court the day before every hearing, before 11 o'clock. And you'll also need a copy for the respondent. On top of that, I keep a spare copy with me whenever I'm in court, just in case CAFCAS need a copy. The bundle itself must be contained in a ring binder, not one of the flimsy ones with just the 2 little holes. You need a full ring binder. This looks very empty at the moment, but in a few months' time it will be quite full. Across the back of the ring binder, on the excuse me, on the casing there, at the top you put your case number. Excuse me. You put the date of the hearing. You've got the title of what it is there and whose copy it is there. I choose to put it on these little sticky badges, labels if you like. They look more official and they look better in court. And for your next hearing, all you need to do is put another sticker over that one, and that's the bundle stays the same for the next hearing. On the front of it, you put the case number and the date of the hearing and the judge's name who's going to hear it, and in this case it's District Judge Smith. What's happened in my cases so far is that the judge has taken the bundle before and given me the bundle back after the hearing, and I've updated it as we've gone along and dropped it off at 11 o'clock the day before the hearing. What's contained in the bundle? Well, that's what the interesting part is, and more importantly, how to set it out. Before anything, you need an index. And as the name might suggest, it's just a list of what is contained in the bundle itself. So in the top left-hand corner there, you have the name of the court in block capitals, underneath in the matter of the Children Act 1989, and in the matter of the child's name and then the date of birth. In the top right-hand corner, you'll have the case number, and underneath you'll have the name of the the name of the applicant and the name of the respondent, in this case Tarquin and Elsie Shakeshaft. Underneath that, index to bundle for hearing, and then obviously the given date. The court likes everything done in certain fonts and lettering spaces, etc. I'll go into this a little bit further on. I use Times New Roman for every single court document I put in the bundle, and I use font size 12. Some of it's block, some of it's not, but in every statement I do, that's the font I use and that's the size that I use, because it makes for easy reading for the court, okay? You'll also notice at the top of the page the index page number, okay? Moving down, you can create a table. Now, to create each page within the bundle, I primarily use Apache Office Word. Some people use Microsoft Word, others will have Apple software. It's pretty irrelevant. You put a table in, and in section A, you'll have the preliminary documents under the title of date, then the description, and then the page number within that section there. So here, in the preliminary documents, page number one is the case summary. Now your case summary might be 8 pages long, in which case it'd be case summary page 1-8, as down here 1-3. So at the top you've got your case summary, and underneath in your preliminary documents you've got your chronology. The case summary is very simply a couple of pages. I think it's 4 pages maximum you're allowed. Mine's probably only 2 or 3 pages, and that outlines what the case is about, what the court, why it's gone to court. It outlines the applicant's position, the respondent's position, and then the matter in front of the court. So we can see at section A, in preliminary documents, page 1, we have the case summary. So we skip past the index. We're at section A, preliminary documents. We open it up, and on page 1, we have the case summary. Again, on the front page, the Moon Family Court, your case number, matter of the Children Act, matter of Quentin Shakeshaft, Tarquin and Elsie's son, poor sod. And underneath, case summary, so you're entitling the document. Again, you'll notice it's all in Times New Roman. The top bit is in block. The necessary bits are underlined. And very importantly, again, you'll see this is page 1 of the preliminary documents, okay? Going down, the application before the court is in relation to Quentin Shakeshaft, the date of birth there. The child with whom the court is concerned is a child between Tarquin and Elsie. Their relationship came to an end in April 15. The application is for a child arrangements order, and that's pretty much all you need to do. Then you state the position of the applicant. Now, just because I've put position of applicant there, don't put a separate heading or anything like that. Simply enter your position if you are the applicant. Refer to yourself in the third party as the applicant or the father or the applicant father. If you're aware of the respondent's position, you can also put their position in as well, entitling them the respondent mother, or Ms. Shakeshaft. You can refer to yourself as Mr. Shakeshaft if you wish. Once you've put both positions down, a little bit at the end, issues for the court, and this is what the court case is about. This is what the court needs to know what you're applying for. Should there be contact between Quentin and his father, and if so, how? Nice and short. Should an order be made preventing Miss Shakeshaft disclosing events in court to a third party, because she must have been opening her trap a little bit. And that is your case summary, okay? Moving onwards, you have at page 2 in your preliminary documents, you have the chronology. Again, top left-hand corner in the Moon Family Court, your case number in the top right-hand corner, matter of the Children Act, and the matter of Quentin Shakeshaft between Tarquin Shakeshaft, the applicant, and Elsie Shakeshaft. Chronology as at the 1st of the 1st, 18. Chronology is very simply a list of important events. So the father was born 1st of the 1st, 80. The mother was born 1st of the 2nd, 85. Quentin was born back in 11. Mother and father separate in 16. Mother and Quentin leave family home to reside on Mars. You could put here, 8th of the 8th, 16th, father files C100 application to court. It's basically a list there for the court to see what's happened. So you start at the beginning and chronologically by date go down, okay? And that is very simply the case summary. One thing I will point out at this point, I'm very restricted to what I can put in here because it's pertinent to my case. In each section, so at section A, you've got your preliminary documents, and almost always that will just be the case summary and the chronology, okay? In here also, for each hearing, might go your position statement. In section B, you have what are known as pleadings. And the pleadings, quite simply, are basically the documents that you've received from the court. So in my own bundle for my case here, I've just opened it up in the computer, you will see there index B1 to B3, that was a notice of court hearings. B4 might be a court order. B5 to 29 is the application to the court, so the C100. B30 to B31 is notice of hearing and gateway. All these down here, all in B, are from the court. What's important is that all that is done in chronological order. So at the beginning of section B, for example, you'll have the application, which is the first thing, and that goes at the front. And as you go on, it goes to... So the newest documents at the back, the oldest ones at the front. So your application will be first, then it'll be notice of proceedings, then it'll be gateway orders, etc. Then maybe further orders made down the line at the first hearing regarding Miss Shakeshaft's talking about the case or whatever, and so on. This is very simply in section B is just stuff you receive from the court, and make sure the oldest documents are at the front and the newest ones are at the back. Okay. As we go into section C, we talk about statements. Once you have your template at the top here, you can use that all the time for when you make a statement. And here, instead of stating case summary, you can put position statement of the applicant or respondent, again in Times New Roman, and that will go in section C. So you'll have your position. If you made your position statement first, it'll be the oldest document, so there, and then there would be the respondent statement. There might be a statement from Kafkas, there might be a statement, lots of people can make statements. Section D, again I've put the little sticky note at the front in Times New Roman in block with experts. You can also put the little section D there on the tab so the court can see it. And experts is very simply, it might be Kafkas, it might be psychologists, it might be drug and alcohol experts, anyone like that. And you've got section E, which is the miscellaneous section. Now in my miscellaneous section, if I look up section E here, at this point, I know for a fact that section E1 is a parenting plan. E2 is images of me and my little one. Section E3 to E5 is a letter of complaint to Kafkas. And E6 to E11 was a complaint from Kafkas. On my computer, I choose to do everything by index number. Okay, so instead of saying what each document is, I state where it is in the index. And this comes in very handy when you're printing it off and you need to refer to it. I have a copy of the index itself printed off, but where everything is in the bundle is just literally, okay, so you'll see index C1 to C4. I know for a fact it's in section C, so it's a statement, and it's likely to be my statement. In section B, you'll see B5 to 29. You know it's a big document, so it's likely to be an application. You click on that and it'll be the application for a contact order, etc. This has been the easiest way for me to do it because I have the index printed off on my desk for my specific case. Very simply, that is the bundle, okay? There are rules that the court like. They do make allowances for litigants in person, but again, I like to be as perfect as I can regarding this. So what rules do they have? You need to make sure that you have an indentation where my finger is there so that there's holes in the ring binder and the reading only starts there so the court can see it clearly. As I've mentioned about the Times New Roman font, Times New Roman size 12, and the application before the court is in relation to, and then the spacing between the line. The court like that spacing to be set at 1.5. That's called your line spacing. Depending on whether you're using Word, Apache Office or an Apple Mac, it's different, but it is important if you want to look professional in court to make sure your font, your margin and your line spacing are correct. The line spacing is 1 times 1.5. I think there's a 2 centimetre margin, but you might have to look that up. And there we go. Okay. When you are making position statements, there's a whole raft of files for position statements, but please do clearly make sure they are numbered. And the reason the court like this, because later on you will be referring to this, or someone may refer to the court bundle and say in on A1, so we know, for example, we're looking at A1 1. They might refer to the chronology and say, well, in A2 it simply says that Quentin was born. Further on down the line, if you're providing statements, it'll say at A11. So you'll have A1 will be what section, the 1 will be the page, and the further one will be what paragraph. So each paragraph has to be numbered, although this is not the case for the case summary itself. It's important for position statements. Going back to all things technical on the computer, you'll notice that not everything is a Word document. All the stuff from the court is either sent to me as a PDF or I scan it on the computer and save it as a PDF. You may think that causes problems because you have to put page numbers on everything. So example, B5 in my bundle to 29, I know for a fact is the application to the court. However, the application on its own form begins on page 1. So I need it to begin on page 5. What I have found that's free is a website called I Love PDF. And this is fantastic because you can create your own page numbers. So you can select a PDF file. We'll just put one there. Application form. So we've got a C100 application form. Go in there so that you can see there your C100 application form. Now, there's 26 pages in it. First number, we want it to actually begin at page 2. In fact, we'll say page 5. And we want it to be, the numbers to be at the top, and we want them to be in the middle at the top, and we want the font to be Times New Roman bold, and size 14 we want to be 12, and we can add page numbers to it, and that does it all for you. And any minute now, down here in the bottom left, it should start downloading, and we have it there, and we'll open it. So as we open it, you can quite see, even though this is page 1 of the C100, it's actually page B5 in your bundle, and it's put on there page 5, page 6, 7, all the way down to whatever you need. So I really would recommend this I Love PDF, because it makes your job 10 times easier. And then when you go back to your bundle, you can save them all as PDF format, and that tool itself helps you merge the PDF, as well as number them. So your index, very simply, to summarize everything, you've got your index at the front. You got your index at the front saying what's in the summary, nicely set out in a table, explaining what date it was on. Okay. Sometimes the court on their documents don't date everything, so just put undated notice of proceedings. You'll see there page 32 to 33. C100 number 2, because there was another C100 made within proceedings, and that's page 34 to 58. Don't worry about leaving bits blank, because these will or may all get filled up. Again, go down to statements, statement of the applicant, C1 to C4. Don't know why the printer's printed off a blank page. Parenting plan of the applicant. Sorry, C is continued up here, so 25th of the 6th statement, that's 5 to 7. So it's all in sections. So section E begins with 1, then 2, And the best example is probably section B, I think. But you'll see that section A ends on page 2, section B begins with page 1 and goes on to page 85. And that's very simply the court bundle. If you need any help, please look me up in the group. The name's David Dunn, and if I've got time, I'm more than happy to help anyone. Remember, you might not need to do this. The court might do it for you. The other solicitors might do it for you. What I believe preparing the bundle has helped me with my case more, because it's meant I've had to look at documents more, which meant I've remembered things more. I always feel better knowing when I go to bed at night that I've done the very best in my fight for my little fella. And this is something I had to get right. This is one of those practical things that I can do. And all I needed was a printer, some paper, a computer, and a few ring binders. I suppose I've added to it as time goes on, little bits and bats. The labels are quite a good idea. I've seen solicitors handing court bundles in that are just scribbled all down the side there. But the court like things done professionally. So get yourself some labels and do it that way. I wish everyone all the best of luck, and I thank you all so much for watching, and I'm sorry it's been so long. All the best.